standing at the entrance of the Blauwe Kamer, a natural area that is located between Rhenen and Wageningen. Let's go and check it out. The Blauwe Kamer is a 12 square kilometers area. It is designated as a nature conservation zone and also defined as floodplains for the Rhine flowing at its edges. Walking in this area is like taking a bath in nature. Listen to the sounds. The Blauwe Kamer landscape can raise many questions to whom explores this area. What are these old buildings? What is the purpose of this place? In this vlog, I will tell you all about the history of the Blauwe Kamer that will allow you to understand the different landscape elements. I will explain the different functions of the Blauwe Kamer and the different programs and stakeholders that are managing and regulating the area. What can you see when you are standing in the Blauwe Kamer? For the moment, we are standing approximately here. Over here is the building areas where you can find the information center of Utrecht's Landschap. This is the old brick factory that was active from 1890 to 1975. This is the old brick factory. It got created in 1880 and then worked from 1890 to 1975. Its role was to process the clay that was excavated from the Blauwe Kamer, so the area over there. This whole area is higher than the rest of the Blauwe Kamer and is therefore protected from floods. If you walk a little bit further, you encounter a first lake. This lake was dug in 1990 by Utrecht's Landschap and is very shallow. It has a specific ecosystem and birds and fishes, as it is standing water only connected to the river when it is flooded. A little bit further, you have two deeper and larger lakes. These lakes offer then another habitat for biodiversity and were created from clay extraction for the brick factory in the past. So I'm then standing here on this platform that leads to the two deeper lakes at the back of the Blauwe Kamer. These two deeper lakes were created in the time of the brick factory by the clay excavation to produce bricks. The soil got dug out, and then when the Rhine flooded, it then filled up the lakes. This lake here was created in 1990 and is much shallower and was created for biodiversity purposes only. On my left side here, you can see a measurement tool that measures the water level in the Blauwe Kamer. You would be wondering, how high does the water go when it's flooded? You probably cannot see it properly, but it can go up to 10 meters and 30 centimeters. And this area lies approximately 6 to 8 meters high. This whole area is not accessible for visitors, walking visitors. Why? Because you have wild horses and wild cows grazing the areas. On top of here is the Grebbeberg. At the bottom of the Grebbeberg is located the Blauwe Canal that connects the Nederrijn to the Southern Sea. From the Blauwe Canal, sand points got removed to create this third water body that is a specific ecosystem and habitat, as it is river water slowly flowing. This is part of the Room for the River program, as it allows the Rhine to flow better into the land. In wintertime, this area gets flooded up to 10 meters 30. However, here is a little hill, and as we walk up, we reach an area that is never flooded. The land has been raised during the brick factory time to protect the infrastructures from water. Nowadays, it has been kept to protect the houses and the information center. We are now walking along the Sommerdijk. The Sommerdijk got dismantled in 1992 when the Blauwe Kamer opened. The summer dike got first created to protect the brick factory area from floodings, as the height at which we're standing right now does not get flooded. However then, dismantling the summer dike allowed the Rhine River water to flow in here into the floodplains to develop this specific ecosystem. After this first little tour, you can already guess what are the different functions of the area. The Blauwe Kamer holds two main functions. The first one, as I said before, is a nature conservation zone. Nature develops here freely, and the different water bodies offer a great habitat for fishes, birds, and plants. The second function is flood security. The Blauwe Kamer works as a water management structure in itself, as it is a floodplain. It allows the water from the Rhine to flood during high discharges, ensuring flood security for the rest of the valley. But how are these two functions ensured? So what motivated the creation of such a space as the Blauwe Kamer? The answer is Plan Uivar. Plan Uivar is a plan that is the winner of a design contest in 1986. The idea was to combine specific ecosystem development with water management. Where does this idea come from? The Grabbedijk was surrounded in the past by farmlands. Farmlands were protected from the summer dike, meaning that there were no floodplains. The flood security was very low and measures needed to be taken. The designers of the Plan Uivar realized that there are two types of systems. The fast-changing systems on one side, such as farmlands, and the slow-changing systems, such as floodplains, on the other side. They then decided that the fast-changing systems, such as farmland, would be located inside the dike, while the slow-changing system will be able to develop in the floodplains. Therefore, the Blauwe Kamer got created, the summer dike got dismantled in 1992, and beautiful ecosystems were able to flourish. This is the information center of the Blauwe Kamer, also the main office of Utrecht Landschap. Utrecht Landschap is the main stakeholder of the Blauwe Kamer, as it owns and manages the area. Utrecht Landschap is a provincial organization that got created in 1927 and that is responsible for managing nature in the Utrecht region. They bought the Blauwe Kamer in 1990 and now are really envisioning a river-based ecosystem development in this area. Another important and the second most important stakeholder of the Blauwe Kamer is Rijkswaterstaat. Rijkswaterstaat is an organization part of the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management of the Dutch government. They are responsible to ensure water safety all across the Netherlands. Therefore, they have a strong impact of the Blauwe Kamer as they are responsible for managing the area as a floodplain. Their goal is to keep the area as open as possible with a bare soil so the water can flood easily and ensure safety to the country and prevent the Grabbedijk to break. Wildlife is another important stakeholder. They don't hold a voice per se in the decision making at the Blauwe Kamer, but they are impacted and impacting the decisions that are being made. Can you see the friction point already? Can you see how these two functions can work together? On one side, Utrecht Landschap wants nature to develop freely, wants ecosystem to flourish and plants to grow. On the other side, Rijkswaterstaat wants an open land and a non-friction soil. Where does the limit stand? So if the floodplains were left alone, they would start to develop into a dense forest dominated by hawthorns and poplar. Let me show you. However, because of the cows and the horses grazing the area, the Blauwe Kamer is still open and free. So this is a very common species that you can find in the floodplain. It's called a hawthorn, and it doesn't get eaten by cows because of the thorns that you can see here. So I'm standing here next to a dead poplar. This tree has been planted by Utrecht's Landschap in order to provide seeds to enable the easy development of the forest. Many trees fell, like this one. Because of the water, the trees didn't get enough grip in the soil and just fell over. However, the forests keep growing because poplar species seed under the hawthorn, like here, and are therefore protected from cows and horses thanks to the hawthorn thorns. So after some time, the poplar will grow and overgrow the hawthorns, creating then a real forest. So we can observe that for the moment, nature conservation and water management works hand in hand in the Blauwe Kamer, thanks to the grazers. However, in the future, it will not be possible anymore to stop the development of the forest, and Rijkswaterstaat and Utrecht's Landschap will have to come to an agreement to find a long-term solution. Another annoying point that may enter in the negotiations are the many programs that the Blauwe Kamer is involved. These programs put the Blauwe Kamer under certain regulations and policies that are complexifying the situation. Let's investigate these parts. The Blauwe Kamer, like the rest of the Uiterwaarde that goes that way to Wageningen and on this way to Rennes, is part of the Room for the River program that is being led by the Rijkswaterstaat. The Rijkswaterstaat decided to develop this program since the floodplain areas became smaller and there were heavier and more intensive rainfalls. So nowadays the Blauwe Kamer is asked to keep an open landscape so the river can flood freely in winter. From time to time they are passing by boat along the Rhine and check the smoothness of the vegetation. If it is not respecting the Rijkswaterstaat regulations, then they get into contact with Utrecht's Landschap and ask them to take care of it. The Blauwe Kamer is a Natura 2000 area. This means that it is part of the European Protection Plan for Nature and Species. Therefore, it is regulated by the European policies that protects nature across borders. To conclude this little vlog, I would then say that the Blauwe Kamer works well for the moment and is able to ensure the two functions. And therefore, following the two programs that it is involved in, Room for the River and Natura 2000. However, in the future, Rijkswaterstaat and Utrecht's Landschap will have to find new strategies in order to leave the landscape open without disturbing too much the development of the forest. It may create friction as Natura 2000 zones are protected and therefore not allowed to be too much influenced by humans. On the other side, if nothing is being done, then the risks of flooding over the land is going to get higher and Rijkswaterstaat will have to intervene. To be followed.